Hand poking is one of the oldest ways of tattooing. It's basically tattooing without any electricity, so any sharp implement. My name's Sarah Lou and I'm a hand poke tattooist. I started hand poking when I was younger. It's quite a difficult thing to actually do, to get the ink into the skin. I thought that hand poking was all about doing really simple line work and dot work and that's it. And most of my drawings, my artwork is really complicated. I tried to use a machine and failed miserably. There are a number of questions that I get asked. One of them is it permanent? I've got a sharp implement in my hand, I have ink and it's piercing your skin, it's definitely permanent. All tattoos hurt, okay? But actually, hand poking hurts less. It does. Most of my clients fall asleep. Now that's either because it doesn't hurt as much or because I'm extremely boring, either way. Basically, it doesn't traumatize the skin as much, so the healing process is a lot quicker as well. After working in advertising agencies and doing graphic design stuff, I kind of missed all of my drawing. I used to draw a lot when I was a kid, but I was always told I'd never get anywhere with it. I've more or less drawn for myself only and done my own little drawings. I've always kept it a secret. And then I started drawing again, and I suddenly thought if I'm going to make a career out of it, I need to be able to do something with it. So I decided to pick up from where I left off, which is tattooing for a hobby, and actually take it seriously. Now that I do it on people's skin, it's quite an amazing thing to see, people wearing it. Basically, people have signed up to your artwork for life. So my favourite piece of artwork that I've ever drawn is this crow. And yeah, it was the largest one I've ever done. I think most of my teaching myself came from doing this one tattoo. I think I put a lot of hours into this. I think it took about 30 hours. People just think that hand poking might be less hygienic than a machine. It's actually the most hygienic way of tattooing because everything is disposable. With a tattoo machine, once it's been used, you then have to clean it in what's called an autoclave. With hand poking, once I'm done with my tattoo, with my actual client, then I chuck everything away. Everything is binned. People ask me if there's a difference in how the tattoo will look done by hand versus doing it by a machine. We've got loads of different artists doing different things. Some people work in just black work, some people do realistic tattoos, some people do more like a traditional style, some use lots of colour, some don't. All it is a different style. Hand poking is slower than using a tattoo machine, and that's just an obvious thing. In saying that though, I'm pretty fast at what I do. Last time I tried to count how many jabs I do per minute, I think I clocked it in about 300. So I'm actually not that much slower than a rotary machine would be. Hand poking's been around since caveman times. There are fossils found whereby there's pigment of ink and there's quills made of either bone or maybe human bone or sticks and stuff with skin cells on it. So obviously it's been around for a lot longer than I have or you have. There are other ways of actually doing it. One of them is tapping. So basically you would have the actual sharp implement attached to a stick, and another stick uses a hammer to hammer it in. Some cultures used to use bone, some cultures use volcanic flint. Back in the Egyptian times, I think, they use iron spikes. The Maoris use shark's teeth. Prisons, like Russian prisons and stuff, they use it to create their own passport. So whatever you adorned on yourself dictated who you'd killed, what you'd done. It's basically your own patch kind of thing. And I guess we do exactly the same thing, except ours is a bit more freeform. All of my artwork is custom drawn up for the client. Talking to someone else about what you actually want and what's possible is a really good way of actually getting out exactly what the best artwork is going to be. At the end of it, it's me that gets to design it from scratch, so it makes it extremely personal. I'm actually designing someone's memory, thought, love. So that's where my most interesting work comes from, is when someone literally is telling me what they want to achieve, but there's no images out there to actually show me as a reference. For me to actually be the person to design that from scratch is amazing.